We're at Appomattox Courthouse in Appomattox County, Virginia. And this is Lydia, my friend, and she's going to help us learn about Appomattox. This is a picture of what Appomattox looked like before the war. The central event of the Appomattox campaign was the meeting between Lee and Grant in the McLean House on April 9th. In 1892, the McLean House and the Old Town both died and burned. This is the newly refurbished Appomattox Courthouse. This is a map of the Old Town. This is the prison where they kept prisoners of war and just everyday criminals. Okay, so this is what they call the slave house, and this is where the McLean slaves lived before the peace treaty was signed and they were freed and everything like that. And so pretty much you can see they don't have a lot of stuff. They got a small oven, they got a table and chairs. They don't have like a ton of stuff because mostly they worked in the main house that we saw. So this is what pretty much like the whole place looked like all the places that we looked at, all the houses and stuff looked like right after the war, before they like did anything to it and all that stuff, and before it turned into like a historical site.
And then right here is what it looks like after they rebuilt everything and made it look how it is today. A lot of it wasn't rebuilt until the 1900s, like late 1900s, but now it's what you see today.
We're in the McLean House where they actually signed the peace treaty, and Lydia's going to tell you what this place is now.
This is the room where they signed the treaty. Robert E. Lee sat there and Ulysses S. Grant sat there, and they had all their people around, as you can see by this picture.
Hi, we are in the McLean House where the treaty was actually signed, and Lydia's going to tell you about it. This room is.
This is the kitchen that they would use to make their food. As you can see, there's a stone fireplace, which isn't really, or stone oven, which really you don't see that much anymore, but that's how they would make their food.
From here, about to the next video segment, is pictures of the inside of the McLean House, which was, again, where the peace treaty was signed and all that stuff. This is the seat where Ulysses S. Grant signed his part of the peace treaty. This is where Robert E. Lee signed his part of the peace treaty. This is the outside of the McLean House where the peace treaty was signed. This is a parole pass which gave safe passage to the soldiers.
My name's Robert Caldwell. I'm its back farmer, live just 3 miles up the road there. And of course I fought with the 46th Virginia Infantry during the war.
Cool. What do you like about the village here?
It's rather quiet. Of course, with curiosity seekers, folks coming in wanting to see what the general's meant is a bit louder. But it's nice and calm and quiet. Not like Lynchburg City up there. There's tons of folks up there.
Yeah, there's two. Thank you.
This is one of the old houses. This is the general store. All this stuff that you see after this pretty much is things that they sold at the general store and the inside of the general store. This is the Confederate and the American flags. Lincoln's son was actually at the peace treaty signing, and he went home to report to his dad, and when he came home, he realized that his dad was dead. These are the telegrams that he got telling him that his father was dead, and these are some of the other things that he got from his father and things like that. As you can see, he got multiple telegrams telling him that his father was dead. This was a doll that was found after they signed the peace treaty in the living room of the McLean house.
These are the uniforms you would likely see the soldiers in. This one is Major James Gavin Fields, and this one is Major Frederick Robert Scott Sr.
This is the Confederate flag that was flown at most of the battles, like Gettysburg and all that stuff, and it was brought here when the signing of the surrender. This is the Confederate flag after the Confederate flag that I showed in the last video, and this was like their main flag. This was a picture of what happened after the peace treaty signing. This was the Virginia flag that was flown at Appomattox Courthouse. This was the flag that was flown the day of the peace treaty and was flown at Gettysburg. This is Private John William Webb's rifle. This is a map of the routes that they took on their way to Appomattox. This is Appomattox, Virginia, before it was rebuilt. And this is the other side of it. This is a picture of Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee shaking hands after the peace treaty was signed.
So this American flag only has 37 stars and was placed on Abraham Lincoln's grave when he died and buried in Philadelphia.